I have never thought of that I wanted to become a belly dancer for that matter, because I always wanted to just, follow my heart. I wanted to become a dancer, choreographer for sure, but I never thought of that I want to become a belly dancer. There was no such thing in India called belly dancing at that point of time when we were, kind of going through the ladder of professions. Either you have to be a doctor or engineer because that's what you would be feeding onto all the time. So I never knew about this. It's just I knew that I like to dance. I used to follow Madhuri Dixit. I used to follow Pandit Birju Maharaj. I used to follow a lot of amazing dancers, Vajanti Malaji. It's just, sir, I was doing something on YouTube when I come across this amazing dancer called Ilan Rivera. I saw him. He's a belly dancer, and I just was kind of awestruck and mesmerized looking at him, and I saw him as an art form. I educate myself about this art form, and I kind of realized it's a beautiful art form. I pitched this idea to my parents that I want to become a dancer, a choreographer, and they were like, "Have you lost it? You belong to a Muslim Orthodox family, and then we are the people who gets entertained. We do not entertain others. How can you even think of it? This is so wrong thing to even think about." So I realized that they will not, allow me to do that. Then I opt fashion designing. Then they're like, "Can't you come up with something very manly profession? What is this? Now you want to become a darji. You want to sew clothes. Initially, you used to sew clothes for your dolls, and now you want to sew clothes for the women. I mean, can't you do something more manly?" And it was constant from the very beginning that what is manly and what is not so manly. So of course it wasn't. It was a very gradual process. It wasn't something that I just woke up one day and I was like, "Oh, I want to become this way." No, it wasn't like that. It was a very gradual process. I've been through a very traumatic journey. At the same time, I would say that whether it's family or from the friends or society, it was never been so easy. It was very tough for me. I had to go through a lot of stereotypes and pressures and name callings. But then very gradually, I realized that there's nothing wrong with me. There's wrong with the people, and I think there's nothing wrong with the people as well. It's something that we need to change. We need to talk about. We need to just be ourselves, because nobody is being just themselves. They all are just behaving like robots, and they're following what other people are following. So it's something, if whatever I believe in, I always chose that. And I just felt that if I want to become a designer, I became a designer. And then I realized that I will keep my dancing just as hobby. But I then never realized when that hobby became my profession. I just started doing this whole as a fun thing, but then just one video went viral, and reality show starts coming up to my way, and then interviews and documentaries, this and that. And I never realized, and everyone was like, "You're so brave, you're so this, you're doing out of the box." And I was like, I am not doing anything different. All I just did one thing, I started listening to my heart, and all these things are happening. Then just imagine you all people are not listening to your heart. That's the only one thing you guys are not doing, and that's why all this magic isn't happening in your life. So I am not brave. Everyone is brave enough in this world to conquer or achieve anything. All you need to do is just one thing, that listen to your heart. Just believe in your dreams, you know, and things will change. And then I remember I was just struggling to even pursue dance as my hobby, and now it's my profession, it's my identity. Yeah. All right. So, as I said before, it was a very gradual process. Initially, I genuinely used to hate my parents. But then now I'm 26, and now I have realized that we as a kid, we really need to understand it's not our parents' fault. It's not even our grandparents' fault. That's how they grew up. That's how the society is. That's how the culture is. You cannot just change anything in one day like this. There's always a process. You need to understand that where does that thing coming from. So now I realize that it's not their fault. How it's just that that's their upbringing. That's how they understood that if you're going to dance, it's going to be a forbidden thing. It is haram according to your religion. Only courtesan culture, associate with the dance and music. So it's not their fault. They haven't seen the good, nice, inspirational examples in their lives. So what is our duty? Or if anybody wants to educate someone, it's our duty that we need to set good examples for our parents or for the society. We need to show them the a positive aspect of that one thing which they are not agreed to, and it will never happen like that. And beyond everything else, of course, the education and the setting up the right examples, above everything, we need to love ourselves and accept ourselves the way we are. If you cannot love yourself and accept yourself the way you are, you cannot expect that thing from anybody, whether it's your parents, your siblings, your friends. Because if somewhere you are doubting your instincts, your feelings, your dreams, your identity, how can you expect in the world from someone else to do that for you? Nobody can. Everybody has their own lives, their own problems, and their way of living and dealing with the things. You cannot. And it's just the way it is. It's okay. You just can't crib about one thing. If something is not working in your favor, work hard to make that thing work in your favor. Understand the core of that, understand the problem there, and then work for that. Or just compromise and then do not crib about it. So I think what I chose the first way. I try to understand the meaning of this whole, the real problem of this whole situation, and then I started working for it. And now, whether my family is not full-fledgedly okay with my profession, but they are somewhere, they're okay with the fact that, okay, our son is a belly dancer, and people are accepting him. He's making his life, his decision for himself, and if he's okay, then we are okay with it. So I've made it this way. Okay, so there's no two way about it that I have been a very effeminate sort of a child since the very beginning. So, of course, in the beginning, I used to feel very scared about my identity that, oh my God, I am so different because I've been constantly, told by other people that you are wrong, you're different, there's something wrong with you. So I was in that pressure that, oh my God, I'm not behaving the way my brother is behaving or the other boys of the society are behaving. So I think there's something wrong with me. So I always kind of realized that, okay, I am the one who's wrong. I need to change myself. And I even tried my best to do that. But this is something which is naturally in me by birth. This is not something that kind of a piece of cloth I wore and I just take it off and then everything is just out. No, it's just there engraved in me. So how if someone is asking you to just change your existence, change you as a person, then then what's the point of me being on this planet? Again, education is very important. But by the time I understood all these facets of life and of the things, and I realized that, oh my God, I am not wrong. People are wrong. They need to understand that I am perfect the way I am. They need to change their mentality. They need to understand that they are the ones who kept on calling, oh my God, we praise the Almighty, praise the Lord, Bhagwan, kuch galat nahi karte. Then how come they made me wrong? They cannot make me, because that's how I am by birth. So if he made this mistake, that means there's no God in the world. That God is also a human. So you need to change your ideologies. I am not going to change myself the way I am. If you can't accept me the way I am right now, then I think you do not deserve me. You do not, all these things, comes with the time. It just doesn't pops up like that at one night. And where it concerns about the fashion, I don't know why. I've always seen fashion very androgynous. I have seen fashion in a very unisex way from the very beginning. I've never thought when someone used to say that this piece of cloth is going to define your gender, whether you're a male or a female. I was like, okay, this piece of cloth is going to define my gender or my pronoun. I refuse that. So I have been always like that, or maybe for that matter, accessories. I realized that these are the things. Of course, there's a proper history to each and every clothing or accessory. But when I went to that history, I realized heels were meant for men. They weren't meant for women. Men invented high heels for males, not for females. Females started adapting them, you know, and only higher classes, were afford to wear high heels. I'm talking about the only male. When women started copying the denim, the white collar shirts, because there was this whole, revolution of feminism, then they started copying high heels as well. And then they started wearing high heels so much that men stopped wearing high heels because then they started associating them with women. And of course, in this patriarchal glow, we have this one thing that if women is doing something, men stop doing those things because they feel like, oh, this becomes very sissy. Because somewhere they have associated sissy word as a derogatory word for some very strange reason. And I am the kind of a boy, if somebody calls me sissy, I take it as my power, I take it as my strength, because I know I can never become sissy in my life, because they are so superior that I can't even imagine to become one. So I never saw this whole effeminate, androgynous, unisex clothing or behavior as a weak point. I always saw this as my strength. And if I feel like just I have any opportunity to express my fashion sense or my the way I dress up or live, I never miss that chance, because that's who I am and that's what I personally believe in. And I really believe in both the yin and yang power. So if you'll never seen me in a complete drag avatar or a cross drag avatar. I'm always kind of making fusion of both the genders together, and that's what I strongly believe in, because so that's the whole idea is all about. And I think that's something which is naturally is there in everybody. In fact, in both the genders, even in women, it's just that's our kind of upbringing we have, that we've been always fed. Women, you have to behave beautifully, elegant. You have to go through these beauty, sessions, and you have to behave in a certain way, this and that. And you're a man, you have to be rough and rugged and tough. So they just become that ways. So it's very important to understand this life is beyond what we think. We're just a very tiny little thing in this world, and what we all just crib about on our masculinity and femininity and this and that. If we just understand the whole ideology of the existence, I think we just feel like that there are no barriers. You can just express yourself the way you want to. The moment I was understanding all these facets of life, I started to become more open about my expression of clothing or my just personality. Yeah. So, first of all, these workshops never happened or organized for specifically for the parents ever. I have always given these lectures or kind of workshops for the colleges and for schools like Shriram School in Vasant Vihar, and then different colleges across the nation. And now, of course, parents are also there in the audience, and they just come across certain things, and those who are there. But then the major spectators or the listeners are the youth. So, but the parents who are there, I always believe now that it's very important for us to talk to the parents, not to the children. Why? Because parents are the one who are creating those children, who are making them what are they. If we can change a bit, the mindset of parents, or and we don't want to change, we can make them understand. Let's just see this is also the perspective, and this is the another perspective. You see what is right, what is wrong, because all the parents are super smart, super experienced. They would never want anything wrong for their children. It's just they want right education. They need to know this new changing dynamic perspective as well. Again, I'm going to say it's not parents' mistake. That's how they grew up. So we cannot blame them. We as children, we need to understand our parents, and we need to try to change that, mindset they have grown up with. So we need to just give them, and then they will understand it. They will understand it because they know what is right, what is wrong. What parents need to really understand is, I think I'm just going to mix this another question here, that parents need to listen to their children first. What usually Indian parents do when their child just comes up with something, they put a barrier between. Listen, we are the elder one. We know what is right, what is wrong for you. You do what we said. Do not just say it. We don't avoid it. We'll slap it. No, guys, calm down. Just it's a little bud. It's trying to just evolve in this world. Listen to him or her, what he or she is trying to say. Just try to find out from where this perception is actually coming out. Maybe that perception can be wrong, maybe that perception can be right, but just give him or her a chance to maybe explain you. and then you might find a more better ways to explain him that, okay, this is wrong for you. Now I know what is the core problem, or or maybe you get to know something new. So always understand one thing: there's no age. You should never think that way, is that now we are the parents, we are sitting on that hierarchy level, that we can never go wrong. You can go wrong, anyone can go wrong. If according to you your Bhagwan can go wrong, then anybody can go wrong. So you need to understand this one thing, that never put barriers, because it is always a generation gap. Whatever your child knows, you might not aware of that. You need to update yourself, you need to talk to your children, you need to know from where that one thing is coming from, and then try to talk about it. Never ever just try to put those evolving minds away, or just think that you are small, you are young, you are just wrong, you're not experienced, so we are only always right. This approach, I think parents really need to change. And there's certain things which as parents they are not aware of, like LGBTQIA community, gender roles, and then there is talk about the self-expression, which is in the self-expression, it's a very vast topic. Like the workshop which I conduct, all these topics I cover. I cover gender roles, I cover self-expression, I cover LGBTQI community, I cover the dynamic, the dynamic relationships we're having nowadays. So people really need to understand that that was a different era where we lived in, and now it's a different era. We have gadgets, we have internet, we have apps. Where they grew up, it was a very different time, so they cannot relate their children with their experiences. It's very different. So this is what I try to tap in. What I also try to tap in these workshops is this, that there's nothing called boy thing and girl thing. There's nothing called boy blue and girl pink. There can be more shades to it. Life is colorful, and you need to understand that a boy can. Now we have kind of accepted boy as a cook, as a chef, but we haven't accepted girl as a driver, for that matter. So we need to understand these things. This is again a very toxic mentality, where somewhere our parents are also. There are certain parents I have seen. They're like, oh, we are very liberal, we allow our things, but they never ever stop their son going at midnight. But they'll always stop their daughters. And they'll question them. They'll never check their sons' cell phones, but they always feel authority sort of a thing on their daughters' cell phones. I just don't understand that. So this is something which is very minute details parents need to understand. A lot of times, so people are like, um, oh, you're a belly dancer because you are so and so. Oh, you must be this and that. They talk about my sexuality. They talk about the way I behave, I talk, and then say, you are this way. That's why you're a belly dancer. And then I wonder, do you ask the same question to Madhuri Dixit, that, oh, you are straight and then you're a dancer and then you're a Kathak dancer or this and that? Then why do you asking this question to me? You should be judging me on the basis of my talent, on the basis of my skills, say bad things, say mean things, or good things, but on the basis of my profession, on my skills, on my talent or ability. Why do you care what am I doing inside my bedroom or in my private, zone? That shouldn't be a concern. Stop being that mohalli ki auntie. So that happens most of the time. But then the best thing is this, I'll tell you, that now actually the time is changing and people do accept you the way you are. There have been times that people used to associate certain sort of things, but we have these tiny little stereotypes everywhere, Hiteshi. Like, for example, if you're a woman, people have just assumed that you cannot park a car, you just cannot drive well. If you're a man, you just if you're a man, oh, and you're in fashion, then there's no way that you can be straight. You have to be gay. And then there's just certain things like that. So and these stereotypes are everywhere. But somewhere what I believe in, that who's suffering more with this whole stereotype trend is not women but men, actually, because we're living in this patriarchy globe. Of course we are much more in numbers and all that, but somewhere men are just dying maintaining their toxic masculinity. They do not have time to explore themselves, to have to find their self expression. They're just dying, they're just spending their whole life maintaining their this masculine facade. And they are so poor in this way that they do not live their lives. They just always become that puppet who are dancing on the, this puppet, and this world has become the puppeteer. So somewhere men are the only victims who are suffering a lot, you know. That is there, yeah. Okay, so first of all, we need to understand that as a nation, we're still. I think if the last I checked, we are 35. 35th number globally. We're at when it comes to the education. It's extremely important to educate yourself, other than your college or your school academics. It's very important. If you do not have interest in certain things, but then always try to read something which is not of your genre, because the different things give you different perspective. I usually follow people on social media with whom I do not agree on certain points, because I get to have different perspective to certain things. Do not put yourself into that box of like, okay, now I am right, I am the one, whatever I'm thinking is that. No, this world is full of colors and different people. You need to understand that. And as youth, you really need to understand different mindsets. You evolve yourself. You please give that space to other people to just come in and try to tell you. One The second thing you need to understand that is that you do make a difference in the society. I get this a lot. I'm just one person. What I can do in this world? There are so many people. One person can't change anything. No, it makes a difference. Trust me. Okay, when you're changing someone or you want to bring a change in the society, that doesn't mean that you have to change someone. You have to change yourself first. Even if you're changing yourself, you're making a change in the society because you are a part of the society. So if you think that I'm going to make a change, so for that I'm going to change people mindset. No, darling, change yourself. And if you change yourself, you've already make a change in the world because you are a part of the society. You're not from Mars or Proxima Centauri, right? So this is something which you need to understand, that you matters. If you're going to change yourself, your actions, your words going to change people like this, because people need to see the correct example. If I would have, I've been very rebellious. I've eloped from my house when I was in 8th standard. I have beaten red and blue by my dad. I used to, I used to just, I was very spineless, but I never did something which is any sort of, kind of inspirational for the people. But the moment I did something uh, sensible, inspirational for the people, I would say, but something more, in a very positive, more constructive, I would say, people started accepting me. So I have realized, if you're doing something in a constructive way, people will understand you. People will try to see you or follow you in a way, whether they will follow you, not like literally follow you, but they will try to put a thought process there that, okay, that's how you also do it. I'm not saying that everybody's accepting me the way I am right now and they're happy with it, but then they at least have me as an example. They're seeing me, oh, this also happens and I'm still surviving, right? I'm also like, I'm living in the society, I'm still living with my family. So I think it's very important to follow the right way. You need to respect yourself. You need to respect what you do, what you want to do. And that's how you achieve your goals. And it's not important you always work for the fame game. That is something which happens naturally, or it might not even happen, but that doesn't mean that you are successful or unsuccessful. That shouldn't be the parameter of your life. This is something which is just maybe someone is extremely successful, but he or she is not into the public domain. So it depends. It depends. All you need to do is understand yourself. As a youth, we go through a lot of changes in our life. We live in a bubble, that it's very, so I do understand that, because I was also at that stage, and I know what I used to feel. But now when I say I'm 26, now I love my family. I respect them a lot, irrespective of whatever they've done to me. They haven't done anything wrong to me. Whatever they were just doing, they were just doing for my welfare. They wanted my good. but they just forgot this one thing, that the world is changing and we need to see this changing, this dynamic world as well. They were seeing me from the lens of 80s, so, or 70s or 80s, but I was but that's the difference, so this is what I'm trying to tell them, that you all, to all the parents, all the kids, try to make a conversation that makes a difference again. Now, it's not like that you have to go on TV, you have to do certain things like that, social media. No, make a conversation. What will happen? They might not understand it. They might, slap you. But then the thing is this: they know you. Who are you? You don't have to wear a facade in front of your own ones. They should know who you are, who you really are. And if things will not work out, if you think, then there's a way of doing it. There are other people, reach out to them. There are workshop happens like that. There are some NGOs are there. They are beautiful, and then before reaching out to these outsiders, I would say they are your friends. They are your extended family members. They are your teachers are there. Try to reach out to them. And everyone has their escapism in life. My escapism was my dance, or my escapism was my art. So always find that escapism for you, that just that hobby. It could be anything. For me, it was my dance. I relate, like it's very spiritual for me. So there's a way of dealing with things. So this is what I try to tell to kids. And I just try to tell them that do not lose the hope. It's just, you're beautiful the way you are. God makes no mistakes. You are just perfect. Your life is your thing. Just live it fully. Yeah. Parents need to listen to their children first. What usually Indian parents do, when their child just comes up with something, they put a barrier between. Listen, we are the elder one. We know what is right, what is wrong for you. You do what we said. Do not just say it. We don't avoid it. We'll slap you. No, guys, calm down. Just, it's a little bud. It's trying to just evolve in this world. Listen to him or her, what he or she is trying to say. Just try to find out from where this perception is actually coming out. Maybe that perception can be wrong, maybe that perception can be right, but just give him or her a chance to maybe explain you. And then you might find a more better ways to explain him that, okay, this is wrong for you. Now I know what is the core problem, or maybe you get to know something new. So always understand one thing: there's no age. You should never think that way, is that now we are the parents, we are sitting on that hierarchy level, that we can never go wrong. You can go wrong. Anyone can go wrong. If according to you, your Bhagwan can go wrong, then anybody can go wrong. So you need to understand this one thing, that never put barriers, because it is always a generation gap. Whatever your child knows, you might not aware of that. You need to update yourself. You need to talk to your children. You need to know from where that one thing is coming from, and then try to talk about it. Never ever just try to put those evolving minds away, or just think that you are small, you are young, you're just wrong, you're not experienced, so we are only always right. This approach, I think parents really need to change. The future plans, of course, are there, that I want to grow as an artist. I want, but more than an artist, I want to grow as a person. you know there are more things that I really want to achieve. Of course, I mean, I want to work on more bigger international level as an artist. I want to perform on certain platforms. When I talk about international, there are some amazing belly dance cultural events happens, which are very famous in the belly dance community. I want to perform there. I want to teach there. I want to show my Indian fusion belly dance style there. And other than that, I really want to work with Madhuri Dixit. So I'm still waiting for that day. That day will come, and I will work with my dream girl. There was this opportunity even came, and I was so close to it, but that didn't work. That didn't happen. So yeah, I really want to work with Madhuri Dixit. And other than that, there's certain little things I want to work. Is that as I said in the beginning, fame game, I was very driven that way. Is, oh my god, I'm this much popular, this and that, blah blah blah. But now I don't think about that. What I'll think about is, how can I use this as a tool to change mindset, to change the society. So my perspective towards this whole fame game has been changed completely. Now I just want to make a change to the society, to the people, that how I can just bring whatever I have been through. Of course, I'm not the one who can just think that, oh, now this will not happen to any guy or a girl. Of course, things will happen like that in future as well, but I'm sure less in numbers. But then I just want that the more I can reach out to people, the more I can make them realize that, listen, this is wrong. If you are not accepting your kid the way he or she is, then you are failing as a parent. You're not failing as a parent when your kid is, according to you, is not normal or not common. So if you think that I have failed as a parent, you have failed as a parent when you have not accepted or listened to your kid. So try to understand that. So I'm just trying to make that change, and trust me, Hiteshi, I haven't met a single parent yet who have just kind of opposed me and said that, you are doing absolutely wrong in your life. And I go by with your parents and say, I've met all the parents. It's like, listen, you have given me a different perspective towards this whole thing. And now I am going to think about it. I'm not saying that they comes up like, oh, I have accepted my kid the way he or she is, but okay, but that would have been, I think, very fake. But when they come up with this, I'm going to think about it. That is positive because that's how it is. Nothing is something like this. Everything is very gradual. So when they comes up and saying that I'm going to think about it, I'm going to work on it, that's where I feel like, oh, great, I have accomplished something. So that is there, and this is actually happening. So these are some few certain things, I am focusing towards that.